Hello, friends. Welcome to the Holistic Psychology Workshop. We're thrilled to have you join us today. We are introducing our 7-step PANACEA system, so feel free to include any questions that you have or comments in the chat bar. Otherwise, we will have a live Q&A at the end of each workshop session. For those who are signed up for the practitioner certification, you will be receiving a free copy of the Genetic Recoding ebook to the introductory course. This ebook is the audio and written introduction to the introduction of genetic recoding to help guide you to reprogram your subconscious mind and recode in epigenetic patterns, including sabotage behaviors and limiting beliefs, using these advanced recoding and holistic practices. This book is included in the professional and non-professional courses as a prerequisite to the courses, but is also available for purchase as a standalone introductory book. This is a 7-step acronym system, and today we'll be covering step 1, addressing the presenting problem or a pattern by decoding subconscious programming. We'll be transmuting the presenting problem at the core DNA level through each of these steps over the next 8 weeks. In week 2, we will cover adaptive emotional responses to heal, shame, and resistance. In week 3, we'll cover neutralize emotional triggers with perceptual reframing techniques. In week 4, we'll cover accountability yields empowerment, removing the victimhood. And in week 5, compassion, empathy dissolves resentment and is also the secret weapon to repair relationships. In week 6, we evaluate our growth and gain new gratitude. And on our final week 7, we will cover the alchemical transformation to align to your purpose and potential. So we have a lot of fun to look forward to. So for those of you who don't know us, we'll share a brief introduction to get quickly acquainted. We're Corinne and Kim Sullivan, multi-business founders, as well as with Liberated Living, holistic practitioners, therapists, and trainers for internationally accredited diplomas and a turnkey business model for advanced epigenetic and holistic psychology e-courses. And most of all, we're delighted to get to know more about you today and throughout this process. The key to getting most out of anything is applying the correct strategy, so that we all want to, of course, learn how to work smarter versus harder. And the Pareto principle indicates that if we apply 20% of the correct strategies and steps, then we will benefit at least 80% rather than the reverse. So we want to share the benefits that you can look forward to by applying this PANACEA strategy. And in this workshop, we will be covering the benefits of how you can gain the key strategies to decode subconscious blocks and recode default epigenetic programming to overcome inherent challenges, fulfill your purpose, and unlock your potential. Discover how to activate the correct gene expression to heal DNA to align to your best self. Learn how to recondition your mind for success using the correct psychology and upgrading your neurocircuitry. Receive your free book, copy, and prerequisite course, Genetic Recoding and Recoding Subconscious Beliefs, for your personal use and benefit. That's available in an ebook, audiobook, and a downloadable PDF. To receive guidance on your quest to mental and emotional mastery. You can be awarded a fully accredited diploma as a certified practitioner in this 8-week workshop and receive an already done for you practitioner manual with powerful workbook exercises and therapeutic strategies to use with a turnkey business in a box for those looking to advance their coaching or therapy practice, and receive training through your genetic recoding process so you can master your own medicine, becoming the expert in your field, and receive a higher income reach, as well as improving your own personal life, such as repairing interrelational dynamics and breaking epigenetic patterns, and so much more. So quite a lot to get out of this. And the psychotherapy questions that are contained in this PANACEA workshop require you to be introspective and very honest with yourself. Remember, no one has to see this. You can work through this at your own level. And if you're unable to answer any of these questions or complete these exercises, explore deeper into your psyche to maybe gain a better sense of emotional awareness. Maybe you could be struggling to connect with your emotions, which could be indicating some emotional suppression or feeling repressed or even disconnected or dissociating, which is typically due to any trauma or protection mechanism to avoid feeling the pain and getting deeper with your emotions, because sometimes that's how we learn to anesthetize the pain. However, we are here to help no matter what level you are at. So to gain the most benefit, please complete each segment to the best of your ability and revisit any missed section when you are ready. We want to guide you to decode core blind spots to overcome in 2023 with these key psychotherapy questions. And each step is designed to help you transmute the obstacle and recode epigenetic and subconscious programming that is causing any sabotage cycle. So we're going to start with step 1 to identify these blind spots and blocks, because awareness is the first step, and asking key questions will allow us to process, meditate, and gain new solutions, shaking the brain loose. This first step helps us decode emotional blocks. The first acronym in the PANACEA is P, which stands for presenting problem, which can be related to a specific person or a pattern, as well as a perceived void, which is often pertaining to what we refer to as an unmet need or other life challenge, and may be very well associated with an inherent belief or that could be inherited. So identify if the problem is related to a childhood program, or maybe even a parent-child pattern or family pattern, which is epigenetic. Perceived voids from childhood may create ongoing patterns from subconscious programs, so perceiving needs as unmet in our youth. For instance, those who maybe experience a fear of abandonment likely suffered abandonment patterns in their youth and as a recurring theme in their life. And we all recognize that a large number of our beliefs are a result of psychological and subconscious conditioning. But if we don't often realize that many of these beliefs go deeper into our genetic programming, which is why we have this course. So once we become more aware of unconscious programming, we can begin to uproot them and embrace better iterations of ourselves. So let's explore deeper exercises so that we can help you decode these emotional blocks. So first we want to start with some warm-up questions, then we'll go deeper. We'd like to learn more about you. So if you can, feel free to type in your answers in the chat bar, and we will keep everything in confidence because of the nature of this industry. So if you'd like to share, what do you currently do for a living? You're welcome to type in a job title or even your professional interests and goals. Certainly a lot of people in the same industry, of course, makes sense. And what do you need to achieve these goals? Perhaps more clientele, more credentials, qualifications, income, flexibility, training and experience. Yes, ability to work online or remotely, a turnkey practice, done for you content and programs, a proven system, or even saving time, because I see that in one of the comments. A complete holistic curriculum can help save you time. If there's anything additional, feel free to specify. Or of course, it could be all the above, which is generally the case. All right, so are there any obstacles holding you back from achieving this goal, such as limiting beliefs or generational programming, conflicts in a relationship perhaps? Finances are a common one. And of course, the time, the busy schedule, right? So feel free to specify. If you can, sum it up to one or two of your biggest challenges that you're facing and wanting help with. What's not working? What are you wanting to improve about your business, job, relationship, life, etc.? And ultimately, what is your end goal? So if you're wanting to improve your job, is it because you're wanting to increase finances, or you're wanting to do something that you're more passionate about? Or even a relationship, overcoming conflict, you want to have a healthy relationship, right? So feel free to write down whatever top one or two is your biggest challenge. And because of the way our minds are conditioned, keeping our long-held focus and awareness on our vision can often be battled by the internal arguments, that dialogue sometimes that we share with ourselves when we may not believe something is possible or easily attainable, right? And that's when it may help to list counter arguments to negate each one of those disputing thoughts. But we will guide you through this exercise more extensively in one of our later steps. So what areas has this problem impacted? Has it impacted work or finances, social relationship, kids, family, marriage, home, living situation, your mental, emotional health, or maybe even all the above? And what needs to change for your goal to become a reality? What do you maybe need to give up, perhaps, or taking new action steps? Do you feel like you have a strategic game plan? And do you think you can handle this on your own? Or would you like some help and support? Feel free again to use the chat bar to state your reply. You can type in, yes, you want some support. Yes, you do have a strategic game plan. No, you're unsure. Yes, the group one-on-one support, or even if you want to go at your own pace, group one-on-ones, or group. Perfect. What subconscious belief or generational pattern would you like to change? Feel free to list it in the chat box. List one or two that have impacted important areas of your life. Relationships, home, finance, career. Okay, so let's start again by stating your chief complaint. Now, in fact, it might help if we can get old school and if you do have your notebook to get the most out of this. Write your chief complaint, the presenting problem, what you'd like to work on, and maybe what's preventing you from attaining this outcome. State the goal or the objective, and identify if the problem is related to the childhood program, a parent-child pattern, or epigenetic program. If it is related to a childhood program or epigenetic pattern from perceived past, it likely occurred prior to the age of 7. And see if you recall the event. Identify if the parent-child pattern is a program, maybe of unmet need that is a recurring theme, which is often unwittingly transferred to a spouse or within our primary relationships. Such as not feeling supported by our parents and then not being able to express our needs. We might find that we are also still finding that as a relooping cycle. So another event that's continuing to be a recurring theme. If it's related to another individual where emotional trigger was activated, can you identify if there's a mirror reflecting the same behavior with this other individual, whether it's a parent, a partner, a spouse? Are you operating under the same belief or need? Can you identify what the limiting belief is, such as we were withholding love from one another because we were both hurt, right? Pride can get the best of us sometimes. Okay, so here's another step to the presenting problem. Maybe many of you may or may not be aware of the Cartman drama triangle. This is where we can find ourselves being in a codependent or triangulating situation. So identify which archetypal role you primarily find yourself defaulting to. There's a victim in relationships, the rescuer, which is the classic enabler, the persecutor, or all the above. The persecutor is generally dominating and plays the role of the authoritarian and can sometimes behave superior to others, or maybe even be like the bully, right? To get their way, to manipulate others. Maybe angry and aggressive, can sometimes have attacking or blaming behaviors. And generally they need a victim, right? They need a victim to feel more empowered. So the victim believes that things are outside of their control and it's happening to them. The victim can feel oppressed or helpless. Maybe even often identify with feeling hopeless, or even as if the bully is attacking them, and ashamed by the persecutor or outside circumstances. Victims can seem unable to make decisions or solve problems, and they need to depend on someone else to help them or to achieve specific solutions. Victims will seek out a rescuer, usually, to save them from the persecutor, but also perpetuate the victim's state of helplessness and negative feelings. And then, of course, the classic enabler is the rescuer that believes others need him or her. These rescuers are codependent on others needing them and feeling guilty if they don't go to the rescue. Their ability to be the problem solver is how they derive their self-worth. And although their intention is often well-meaning and coming from initially from caring approaches, their interest in rescuing the victim can make them feel superior and is actually an unconscious avoidance of confronting their own issues. We're all well intended, but we will identify with a primary role and typically rotate between roles in different scenarios in our life. So which one do you believe you frequently play? Again, remember, they usually start out with close relationships within maybe siblings in our family, and then we continue to transfer them to other relationships. So what are the most common issues or circumstances that lead to this codependency triangle? What is the emotion, or maybe even a person or event that provokes you to play this role? And can you identify a mirror or a pattern that appears to reflect qualities that stand out to you and the other person that you tend to judge or criticize, or even maybe feel annoyed or hurt by? Look for characteristics in this person, because we all have one that you recognize within yourself or that appear similar. Again, we've used previous examples, but shortcomings are generally an exaggerated version of our own, and we often judge others where we do judge ourselves. An example could be that someone may lack respect toward you, so ask if you are not displaying respect toward yourself. So examine the emotions maybe this person or the problem is triggering within you. And let's look at some examples of common limiting beliefs, such as I'm not enough, whether it's smart or educated enough, right? The never enough syndrome that we all can we can all suffer sometimes. It's selfish of me to want more. I don't believe that I deserve it. Some kind of a guilt complex that often is derived from a trauma response. I'm afraid of trying and failing, or I'm afraid of trying and succeeding. Other people or outside forces hold me back. I need money to make money. I don't have the willpower. I've already tried everything. There's not enough for me. Fear of rejection or not being loved. Every one of these are going to have one common denominator, and that is from a power struggle of not feeling enough love. So I think we all know what the answer is, right? All right, now let's review a list of common core beliefs. So see if any of these beliefs may pertain to you when you're experiencing any kind of power struggle. Which one, and you can even write it down, more than one. Belief of unworthiness, again, undeserving or poor self-worth. Perhaps you had parents that were very difficult or very hard on you. That's very common. It was never enough, right? The lacking emotional security, not feeling enough, maybe feeling inadequate or incompetent, feeling powerless or like a victim. This is often when a child hasn't received enough acknowledgement from an authority figure, maybe a controlling father or mother. Being controlled by fear, feeling overwhelmed in anxiety, fear, suppressed emotions, conditional love, I will only love and accept you if, or you have to behave a specific way, right? Feeling judged or rejected, rigid or conflicting beliefs. The conflicting beliefs are generally one or the other. It's not one and the other. I can't do what I love and get paid what I want, right? That's a common conflicting belief. Neglect, abandoned. This is another common one, fear of abandonment. Oftentimes when parents have to work jobs or, are not necessarily there for a child when a child needed, and they suffer some kind of an emotional lack or feeling emotionally disconnected and tend to dissociate. Dissociation occurs when we're trying to, again, remove ourselves from a painful situation and trying to focus on something else to feel good. And blocked compassion, judgment, chronic depression, worry, over worrying, right? Too much fear, perception of being unacknowledged, invalidated, or undervalued. Most of this comes from, unfortunately, a lot of our upbringing. Okay, so what's the event that led to this core limiting belief? Or even if it was something that you feel that is a filtered perception. So is there a sticky memory perhaps that keeps ruminating in your mind? You may be recalling a specific event that has yet to be processed and healed. So if you think about this past memory, did you feel unloved, incompetent, shamed? And can you see how maybe this has been a pattern within maybe your life or with key players in your life, such as your parents, with the same encoded or limiting belief, like fear of failure? And do you see where this individual may also possess the same limiting belief? What meaning was assigned or implied toward you by either of your parents, causing the I am not good enough syndrome? And what was the overall message that this mirror technique reflected to you about yourself that you saw in someone or something else? For example, again, maybe we were withholding love from one another due to feeling hurt and becoming prideful. So can you identify the parent-child pattern or belief program? And was this an inherent belief from your mother, father, or another relative? So name and write down the belief or pattern from either your mother or father, even if it was both. So are you willing to do the work required to successfully remove the programming to these obstacles? Whether it's becoming an internationally certified, continuing these workshops, that's fine as well. And maybe perhaps you're already a coach or therapist and been through these similar approaches of counseling, therapy, or even worked with a coach before. You're welcome to type your answer in the chat box. And how would you optimally prefer to address your challenge? The remainder of the workshop will be dedicated to recoding these subconscious inherited beliefs to heal and advance to the next stage of your life successfully. So in next week's workshop, we're going to cover step 2, which is one of the most essential steps, if not the most essential step, because it helps us to identify new adaptive emotional responses to heal shame and resistance so that we no longer re-loop around the problem. Sometimes we get addicted to the problem because we don't know the correct coping response, and to help us to heal and prevent us from repeating it, and so we can advance to the next stage in our life, which is often what we want to do. So we look forward to those who will be joining us then, same time next week. And just to share a little bit more about genetic recoding, which is the process we're going through in all of these steps with our PANACEA system, genetic recoding is a standalone therapeutic process that starts at the root of core issues and inherent dispositions to recode these subconscious belief programs at that genetic or epigenetic level, clearing the distortions and self-defeating and sabotage behaviors, helping to heal childhood trauma and conditioning, or even repair relationship patterns and generational healings, to become the chain breaker, meaning you're breaking the pattern and you're no longer passing it down with offspring, and it changes the dynamic in relationships. It begins to heal the relationship so that you can achieve self-mastery and improve your overall mindset. It is an invaluable tool that will enable professionals, so many of your professionals, to start at the root of core issues and the genetically transferred dispositions and beliefs for both yourself and your clients. Even if you've already done some of this before, this will be a 7-step system to help you go through each one of them more thoroughly and recode the epidemic pattern to signal a positive gene change and expression. And it can also be used as an adjunct therapy with other healing modalities and programs. So for many of you professionals that are already offering counseling or therapy or have other modalities and credentials, you can combine this very easily with your practice. And just to share the benefits, that these are 10 or more problems that we do solve. We fully equip all of our professionals. We train, qualify, and provide the credentials, which is the internationally accredited diploma, and a business in a box is a turnkey practice. We offer financing and multiple price packages. We work with helping you heal and break patterns, whether it's belief systems or the epigenetic programming and behaviors. We also offer the job worker profession. We offer new and seasoned entrepreneurs. We offer the ability to work online, home, remotely, or internationally, with the ability to leave a corporate job and work independently or with a team, to provide income opportunities and fast track your program within 4 to 8 weeks with a ready-made business in a box. We offer a 14-day money-back guarantee, and you can work full-time or part-time, which is helpful for single parents or even as a side income. You can work at your own pace or up to 1 year to complete the program. You'll have lifelong access to the full program. And the programs are beneficial for individuals, couples, families, professionals, or aspiring entrepreneurs. And it requires little to no marketing, which is incredible. And that's part of the turnkey practice. We have the written and audio video modules and options. It's a customizable program packages, which offers the one-on-one sessions or a pay per session with friend, family, and referral discounts, and so much more. And for those who want to proceed to the certification, go ahead and get you signed up, and I will be available for the live Q&A for the remainder of the time. And thank you again so much for joining us. We'll be moving forward to step 2, adaptive coping responses, next week, and we'll look forward to seeing you then.